This is about energy. Now think about Russia. If Russia loses control of Syria, then they lose control of a pipeline that could go back on and feed Europe. This is after Nord Stream being blown up. This is also after, thankfully, coincidentally, wink, wink, they just closed their deal. They just finished their pipeline with China.
Welcome to the Morning Markets and Metals with Vince Lanci, where each morning Vince brings you the financial and precious metals news to get you ready for your day. And now, here's Vince.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Vince Lanci. Hope everyone's had a good Monday so far. Today, we're going to be talking geopolitics. This will be very show and tell oriented. I have a lot of dots that I'm in the process of connecting, and I'm going to share with you where they tentatively could be connected. We're talking about Syria and what happened over the last, say, 4 days or so. Let's start with the markets. 10-year yields are up 2.5 basis points. The dollar is 106, spot even, up 4. The S&P 500 is 60.85, unchanged offered. VIX is 13.45, up 70 basis points. Gold is 26.55, up 22. Silver is up 31.70, outperforming. Surprisingly, we'll discuss that in a second, up 73. Copper, 422, up 7. That's what we want to see. WTI, 68, up 83. Natural gas, $3, up 10 cents, 303, I should say. Bitcoin taking it on the chin this morning, 98,637, down 2,600. Ethereum, 3861, down 144. Oof, that's a lot. I guess it's not a Middle Eastern safe haven this morning. Okay. Palladium, up 24 at 982. Right. Platinum tracking it, 950, up 19. Gold silver ratio down significantly. Soybeans, up a penny, 996. Corn, unchanged, 427. Wheat, 565, up 6.5 cents. Okay, the chart you're looking at there, just to give you an idea what that is the silver chart. That dotted line there is an alert that I have above. Michael Oliver had a number at 31.87 in March, silver. I didn't look at his new number yet this morning, but I will. But let's assume that it's the same level for now. I have a spot price in there, and if the market gets above that, I'll be very comfortably friendly for the week in silver. So if it gets above that for today, I'd be, what's today, Monday? There's 5 days in a week. I'm 20% confident that I'm right. Every day that goes by, I'll buy 20% of my position. Okay. The reason I said it's good for copper is because this is ostensibly a Middle East generated rally, but silver and copper are outperforming handily. This isn't, let's buy gold and sell silver. Somebody's short silver. And I know people are short copper. And if inflation comes in soft, then Powell's going to cut on the 18th, and then gold and silver will rally even more. There are people out there who need to buy silver. That's my takeaway from this. Okay. To the story, or my take on the story. There's the front page. China's central bank resumes purchases of gold after 6 months. China gold buying is officially back. That's an older podcast, but I think relevant why they want the gold. And there's a founder special reading. There's plenty of other stories that we put out. We'll come to those in time. All right. Today's discussion is geopolitical, completely geopolitical, and it'll be kind of a show and tell thing. Now, there are a lot of dots out there, and I tend to aggregate dots and then try and see if they make sense and if they fit. And this will be my early opinion, but mostly I'll be guiding it with an opinion, but it'll be mostly factual and other things that are reported. So I'm not trying to tell you what to think, but I am trying to give you some information that'll help you think and filter out the noise that's going to be coming out of this for the next week or so. Let me take a sip here. Hold on. Okay, the news item is, if you're not familiar, Syria has collapsed. And the Syrian government has collapsed, period, right? So Assad is out. He's in Russia, I think. So let's go through the geopolitical implications involving the Middle East, Russia, Ukraine, the US, and by proxy, Taiwan, believe it or not. All right, Syria is a toll booth between the Middle East and Europe. Syria is a broken nation with financially and economically held together with spit, glue, and Russia's backing. It was also a deadlocked region for both Turkey and Israel. It's very contentious. Access to the water is very important, and we'll see more about that in a second. And I think it's been a problem for Erdogan and his relationship with Russia, Syria in general. Next, Iran's influence extends to Hamas, we all know, Hezbollah, and the Houthi in a crescent shape. This is called the Shia crescent or the Iranian crescent. Basically, this area in red here, it's kind of artistic, but your Shia concentrations are in that area. So you have Hamas over here, right, to the left. You have Hezbollah to the north in Lebanon, and you have the Houthi to the south in Yemen and thereabouts. So Syria is one of those important legs, one of those important spokes in the crescent, for lack of a better word, for Iranian influence. So that's just a layout there. These people are financed and armed in part by Iran, and from the West, Hamas specifically, from Russia. Again, my opinion, there's degrees of certainty here. Russia's friendship with Iran affords them Syrian port access in return for Hamas support. Do you think those Hamas hang gliders that flew into Gaza just kind of learned how to do that on their own? No, they were helped by Russia. Now, you'll also note Syria has several ports. The two bigger ones, I'm not sure how to say it, Latakia, but I'm familiar with Tartus from when this was a problem back in 2016. Losing Syria is not good for Russia, which supports Shia Muslims via their relationship with Iran and her proxies. Russia uses Tartus as a warm water port. This will affect their Ukraine war calculus. Now, am I saying that Russia's going to lose Tartus? No. Who's going to mess with Russian boats in the ports? That's like, as one Goldfix founder said, that's like ICBM Central. If you do that, it's over. Like that's World War. So, but it's certainly not going to be all smooth sailing for them. But that's an important port for them. All right. Next. Russia, if you look at Ukraine, is kind of even Steven, right? I'm just kind of speculating here. An overview of Russia's access to the Atlantic via warm water is they had Tartus, Aleppo airport, what have you, and getting the Ukraine gave them second access. If you look at the Ukraine, they've wanted to get everything on the border of the water and the whole area around the Black Sea there. That's a big deal, right? That's the nations around there have to be friendly to them in that respect. So they may have just secured Ukraine and lost a 100% foothold in Syria. So one reason to take Ukraine, if you look back, might be because Russia foresaw the untenable situation in Syria developing. Next, since Syria's fall, Israel and Turkey are both executing land grabs, calling them buffer zones, whatever you want to call it. But down here, I'll make this a little bit bigger. Down here, Israel is, I'm not sure, the Golan Heights are involved here. Israel is in incursions into Syria, setting up camp, and Turkey is as well into Syria. I don't know what's going on in Iraq. Probably nothing right now. And there's Jordan down here as well. I don't know what Jordan is doing, if anything. But Syria is being divided up. This is maps are being redrawn here. Ukraine maps being redrawn. Middle East is being redrawn. Gaza is a dead zone now. Like Israel is creating, I mean, not Israel, whether they're creating it or it's happening for them, is getting a buffer zone built around it, right? They're expanding out. And if you're anti-Israel, like you'd be like, oh, they're expanding. It's the greater Israel concept. Yeah, I get that. I get that. It's more like, I mean, my opinion, I am biased, right? My opinion, the US is just pulling out, slowly pulling out. And everyone out there is like, okay, we need to set up these dead zones, these buffer zones. And so everyone's, getting a little bit crazy. That's what's happening in Europe as well. All right, so there you go. That's land grab. Now, why is there a land grab, you may ask? This is why it's all happening, at least in my opinion. There are two pipelines that are either built and uh, inactive or not completely built, but close to being built, running through the region. And both of those pipelines are they send their natural gas to Europe. One of them in red goes from Iran through Syria to the water. That's a Russian sponsored pipeline. There's another one that goes from Qatar through Turkey. Well, it's the Iran-Iraq Syrian pipeline for Russia. It's basically just Iran-Syria, right? And then there's the Qatar-Turkey pipeline, which also has to go through Syria. They have to go through Syria. That's why the toll booth concept. And destabilizing Syria and putting in an American-friendly government, which it looks like we're trying to do, hence the expression "terrorist in suits." I think the expression I heard. You're seeing a situation where Turkey's going to grab a little land for itself. Israel's going to grab a little land for itself, and also to facilitate whatever the pipeline is going to happen. Everyone's going to control the toll booth area, the dead zone. And Qatar has been supportive of Syrian unrest for 10 years now. So this is about energy. Now think about Russia. If Russia loses control of Syria, then they lose control of a pipeline that could go back on and feed Europe. This is after Nord Stream being blown up. This is also after, thankfully, coincidentally, wink, wink, they just closed their deal. They just finished their pipeline with China. So down the road, not tomorrow, but down the road, these are the implications. It's basically a tale of two pipelines, and it puts the blue one through Turkey in the lead. Next, which, in my opinion, closes the book on why the Nord Stream pipeline was blown up, right? If you think about the U.S., we want Russia isolated. You can't sell your gas to Europe, blow it up, right? Israel, Hamas. Okay, there's the Ben Gurion pipeline that they might do sometime in the future, and then there's what's going on in the Middle East now. So everything that's happening, I believe, has been to isolate Russia. That's what sanctions do. That's what blowing pipelines do. That's what Syria does, and pressure on China that will make them just look at Russia a little bit differently, maybe down the road, not tomorrow. But it will certainly make the BRICS at the periphery think twice about their relationship with Russia, not because they hate Russia, but economically, Russia could be weakened significantly by this. So no gas for Europe from Russia. This is what was there. This is an old map. Nord Stream 1 and 2, they're gone. The Yamal pipeline, I don't know if that still goes. Let's assume that it's not. Via Ukraine, those are all gone, right? Turk Stream, no. Blue Stream, no. I mean, that's it, right? So that's it. Russia's become extremely dependent on China going forward, which puts China in a strong position. The US and EU want peace. Russia may as well now. Taken together, this could be the beginning of a coordinated end to the Ukraine war. It's likely no coincidence that Trump is calling more aggressively for peace talks, and Ukraine has just visited Europe. So I'm putting these dots together and saying that whether they're working together behind the scenes to end the war, or the US is just aggressively trying to destabilize Russia, the end result will be the same. The Ukraine war is something they want to end. Russia will probably keep what it has. It'll be even Steven, lose one port, to gain another, if you want to call it that, and they'll move on down the road. Coming soon, on deck, a Goldfix founder sent me these maps. On November 18th, this was the position of the U.S. carrier groups. And on December 2nd, this is the position now. So we'll go back and forth here, right? The 18th, your epicenter is in Europe with a leaning to the right. Now your epicenter, if you want to call it that, is like basically India with a heavy leaning to the right. Now, everything is going on in the Middle East. Why did the carriers go over there? Well, there's a lot going on in Taiwan right now. There's a lot going on in that area, and it's on deck. Anyway, Abraham Lincoln. This is the Lincoln, the Lincoln group, carrier group. They're the ones that you watch because they're like the swing team. I'll show you what I mean. Lincoln's over here. That's Middle East. Lincoln's over here on the other side of what is over there? What is that? Vietnam. On the other side of Vietnam, well, that's looking at the whole Taiwan area. Okay, so that's like the swing carrier group for me in my mind. All right, so a couple other things quickly. Bitcoin Saylor, as a person who owns and who's friendly to Bitcoin, Saylor's just jawboning his market up and jawboning gold down, and the government likes that. I have a comment here. I'm going to discuss this later on. Banks are for stronger gold, but also for stronger. Okay, the bullion banks are starting to contradict themselves in their research. That's all I'm going to say for the moment. Next up, news and analysis. Look, GNR Quarterly came out, The Return of the West. A very comprehensive piece on there on the difference between uranium and copper. They believe there could be a divergence going forward, on the green side. China gold buying is officially back. Special what CME 1 ounce gold futures implies. It implies squeeze the margins. UBS, go for gold in 2025. Hartnett is testing us now. He actually put out a test. It was fun to take for me. I read him religiously and I still failed the test. I think I got a 66. America's swing back to Trump is a sign the system is groping to restart. That's a piece. It's a good piece from a tech CIO. Founders, CTAs are too long dollars and not long gold. I put that out yesterday. It's not directly about gold, but it's about dollars. CTAs are long dollars. So if they sell their dollars, maybe they will buy some gold. And then there was a founder's special reading. Market news, Assad setback for Russia. We know about that. Okay, data on deck this week. CPI, PPI. Today, wholesale inventories. And we do have, here, I'll pop it up there. It's premium. World Gold Council has their Chinese gold market outlook for 2025, stabilizing demand. When you read reports by the World Gold Council, the bullish news is buried and the realistic or bearish news is headlined. So it's the opposite of say, a YouTube bull. It's not to say that their work is biased. It is to say that their work is demure, but this whole paragraph here is like, holy shit, China bought a lot of gold, right? But they're talking about jewelry and what have you. But now they're saying, jewelry demand is dropping, investment demand is picking up, but jewelry demand is dropping. And that's how the report basically goes. The interesting part of the report, which I do think is very helpful, is they go through the different segments of demand in China and what the drivers are, right? There's a couple of nice graphics there on that. And that's basically it. It's not about central bank demand. It's about jewelry and investment demand at the local retail level. And they basically say that it's going to be weaker and stable for jewelry. That's what they focus on, but it's also stronger and up in investment. So go figure. Jewelry is investment, if you ask me. Anyway, that's it. These are the charts. We're getting close. We're getting close to me going, I'm going to buy strength in silver. This is very good, very encouraging. As long as oil is firm, doesn't have to be strong, just as long as it's above unchanged. then being long gold is the right thing. And as long as copper is up, then being long silver is the righter thing because there is physical demand out there in silver. And Bob Coleman alerted us last week to the EFP tightening. So China's back buying gold, which means, my opinion, uh, India is back buying silver. That's how it works in my book. All right. I'm Vince. Have a great day.
Well, thanks for watching this morning's Markets and Metals with Vince Lanci. We sure appreciate you tuning in and starting your day with us here. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Please note that this video is not intended as legal licensed financial trading advice and is to be used for informational purposes only. Please contact your financial advisor before making any decisions, and thanks for watching.